Hello, everyone. We're back. Hopefully, they should be coming at any time. I think it's 1:15. Lunch is over. I hear them jiggling I see them jiggling in the the sign, the seal of Tennessee. And then I just found out today my friend is going to give me a bread machine. Isn't that so nice? So, what do you guys think about that news about Nancy Guthrie? I think they've known a long time that she's been gone. Especially from that video that Nancy and her brother and sister and them did. Well, I see that TMZ did another video. Let's see what they have to say until
note along with Tucson stations, television stations. And in that note, the kidnappers made it clear that they wanted $4 million within days of the time she was captured. And if the Guthrie family didn't pay that money, it would go to $6 million. And a week after the kidnapping, basically, they said they would kill her if they didn't get the money. So there was a second ransom note now that we know about that one of the Tucson stations got. In that note, which was sent 5 days after the kidnapping, it said that Nancy Guthrie was dead, and that apparently said she was buried somewhere. Now, we know that the second note did not contain a ransom demand. And that's why it was so confusing that following weekend, when Savannah Guthrie said to the world that they wanted to bring their mother home to celebrate, and they would pay the money. And that money was never paid. And we know that because we have the Bitcoin address, and the Bitcoin address in the first ransom note was the same as the Bitcoin address in the second ransom note. And no money was ever paid other than a very small amount that the FBI put in to see if they could trace the Bitcoin address, which they could not do. So the question then becomes, why did the Guthrie family fail to pay the money? When you think about it, that second note saying that she died accidentally, that they didn't kill her, but she died accidentally, which is the way this is now being reported. They're essentially saying, look.
Sorry.
The state's position is it is not in any way relevant to Ms. Jackson's credibility as a witness or her ability to remember the events of February 25th of 2023.
I haven't gotten anything to Ms. Jackson yet, but
Yes, but the state is asking that the defense not be allowed to ask witnesses about messages unless they have shown them to the state. She misstated the message and who the sender was, and that was inappropriate and wrong, and we would ask that she provide us with a copy of anything she's asking for.
May I respond?
do you think the message that you quoted the doctor is from Ms. Benning?
I am looking at
That is
the,
just a yes or no.
yes, I am. Yes, I do, based on
She
the records
doesn't
that I have.
She thinks it's from Ms. Benning.
And that is why I'm asking the court that she be required to provide us with a copy of it so that we can
Is it not
determine that
something
before
you
she.
already have?
I don't, I
Where
have
do you
a
record?
copy of the message.
Let me
right
see if this,
Let me make sure I give you the right one. And what I was trying to tell the court was that this is the dump of Ms. Benning's phone. So I am referencing the dump that we were provided by the
well, you
state.
still gotta know who it's coming
Yeah,
from.
so let me find it, and
Okay.
then I will turn it to the court, because what I saw on there was, it was from Ms. Benning. So if I'm wrong, it's based on the records that we received from the state. So I'll find it and I'll get it to the court.
Okay, let me see it.
Okay, let me come.
Who's the next witness?
Counselor Jones.
Keon, okay. Does the state have there available the text that you're saying came from Miss Jackson to Miss Benning about her body shaking?
That's right.
Is that what you're referencing, Ms. Holland?
No, it was not about body shaking.
Well, that's what you asked.
No, what I asked was,
Look at that message and see if that's what you're speaking of.
yes, that is. That's it. It's
Okay.
on my computer, so
Let me
let
see
me
it.
pull it up on my computer.
Well, that's the state's copy, just let me see it.
But that's the same copy, it's not what I was looking at.
But that's the text that you're referencing.
I don't know that that's the text.
I thought you said it just was.
The text context was, it doesn't mean that the sender and the recipient that I was looking at was, because I verified that before I went into it. So if I can pull it up on my computer, because that's, I just remembered I was looking at it from my computer.
Well, it says a phone number ending in 0608. How do you pronounce it?
Najee.
Najee. My body is starting to feel like it's shutting down.
Yeah, it's not shaking, you said shaking.
You said it was from Miss Benning. That's what I'm trying to determine.
I'm trying to pull it up for you
Okay.
so that I can get it to you.
November 2nd, 2022, 11:29:48 seconds.
Yep, listen, I gotta get on the internet. If you look at the bottom of page 169, it has the sender's number, and then it has the message next to, the message is the next one under. Look at the bottom of the page.
Okay, I'm just trying to, I don't know, show that to the state.
If you look at the bottom of that page, the sender number is 501. The recipient is Nigeria. The very next message is that message that we quoted.
Her copy is the metadata.
Yeah, no, I get it. I can read all of this. On page 1969, the record 4388, it says the sender name is Nigeria, 501, 541, and this following page, 1970, is the message.
If you also see the
The sender goes with this message.
Can I finish? Is that what you-
Let me ask you a question.
The sender says 501, 541, 5008.
Is there a police officer here that can tell us who's the sender and who's the receiver on that?
I absolutely can get someone here.
Okay, why don't you do that?
Yes.
So you're, Ms. Holland, you're still thinking that the message is from
What I'm sharing is when I looked at the sender's number, it said 501, and then when it said recipient, it did not say Jade Benning. So when I saw sender 501,
Okay,
which
well,
is,
let me ask you, are you acknowledging you're now mistaken?
I don't know that. I can say that she's right because it does say sender's name, Nigeria, but the number was 501, 541, 0608.
What do you need to figure out whether you were mistaken?
Let me just speak with my staff who sent it to me.
Okay.
So what she shared with me that it wasn't that from Nigeria. However, we have several other messages where she does in fact do the same drug. So we can come back.
You're jumping way ahead of me.
Well,
The
if I-
question you asked the doctor, is that wrong?
Let me say this.
That's just a yes or no.
Well, no, it's not, Your Honor. If I can, for the record, please allow me to say what I need to say.
Sure,
to
for the
present.
record, go ahead.
Thank you. We were mistaken in regards to that
Does
particular.
the jury
message.
need to know that?
They can, but if they know that, then I need to be able to go into other messages that suggest the same drugs. Because I can go a day later, because one of the questions I asked
I'm
was,
just
did
saying,
you?
the doctor's gone. I'm just saying, the message you try to convey to the jury is, you want to listen to me or co-counsel?
I'm listening to you. If I can.
What did I just say?
You said, do I need to let the jury know?
No, I said the doctor's gone.
I heard that part too. But if you will remember, what I said was, if she told you she did mushrooms, would that make a difference?
Right,
I have a
that's
text.
not what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with the question that you used this text message from what you said was Miss Benning, and now that's not true.
You sustained their objection to this text
You went and
message.
asked the question a different way the second time,
And the
and
question,
they didn't object.
the question I asked was, if she told you she did mushrooms, would that make a
And
difference?
the final question we can replay it.
We can't, and I also
The final
asked,
question you asked was this same thing.
it was, but the
And
drugs are
she
still
said,
the
no,
same.
that, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we can clear it up and I can talk about the same drugs and
I'm
the
not
different
dealing with
texts.
the others and whatever witnesses. I'm dealing with, were you wrong on who generated this text?
I was, but that text did not come into evidence. The question was,
Your question included the text.
no, it did not. Not what was in front of the question this witness was able to answer did not deal
The
with the
question
text.
they objected to and it was sustained did not come in. Then your final question after the mushrooms and everything else was, if you knew that she was taking Adderall to the point of shutting down her body, would that been contrary to her history? She answered, yes. They didn't object. So the jury heard all
And they can bring the doctor back and say something different.
that. She's gone.
Well, she can come back. If she wants to impeach that, she can. But
And you said it didn't get out. Why was she saying impeach it?
because you're saying you did. And I'm.
It did.
Well, then she
I'm
can
gonna
do
bring
what
the
she
jury
wants to do.
down.
Your Honor, I
Tell
don't
them
argue with
that
the court.
questions are not evidence, which I told them from the get-go,
That's right.
but that the question you asked, generated from a text from Ms. Benning, was not from Ms. Benning.
The question I asked had to do with the drugs Ms. Benning was doing. And there's a plethora of
You weren't
evidence.
asked about that, and I'm not getting into it.
Okay, well, that's what, if she goes
If
into
you
next
think
step,
you want to question now who you know is Ms. Jackson, then we can have a jury out. Do you think it's relevant that this text comes in to impeach Ms. Jackson about her reliability?
no, I don't.
Okay, then let the jury step in. Who is the next witness?
Keontae Jones, Your Honor.
Keontae Jones. Or hold him up just, I didn't know if he was in here or not. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let me give you this piece of information. One, and this deals with Dr. Malayla's
No,
testimony.
I'm gonna object to this on the record in regards to,
All right, let the attorney step up. so the court reporter understands what we were talking about at the bench conference. You, Ms. Hollins, are now saying that you didn't say it was okay for the court to instruct the jury that that question coming from Ms. Benning's, a text from Ms. Benning, was wrong.
What I thought the court was.
Did you say that or not?
Judge, I cannot
But you play back the
respond and cut me
video.
off every time that I'm trying to protect. the
I
record.
said, I'm gonna bring the jury in and instruct them that questions aren't evidence, and that
That's
your
what we
question about, to the Dr. Malela, about Ms. Benning generating a text that she was starting to feel like her body was shutting down, did not come from Ms. Benning. You now agree to that, right?
What
You
I,
agree the text did come from Ms. Benning,
I do agree that the text will come.
but you're now saying you didn't say that that was okay.
No, what I thought the court was saying was that you were going to instruct the jury that what the lawyers say is not evidence. I don't have a problem with that. But if you want to comment on exact evidence, the court can't comment on evidence. The proper way for the DAs to impeach me is to bring that witness back in and then ask that particular question in regards to this exhibit. That is the proper way. Then at that time, I have a right to come back and ask about those very same drugs so that the jury doesn't believe that I'm misleading them. The way that the court wants to do it, it makes the jury believe I'm misleading them
You did.
about the drugs.
Because you misunderstood the
You're
text,
right, but the court sustained the state's objection.
not the third time.
The third time, if my question is wrong, the proper thing for them to do is to bring that
But
witness
that
back.
message got to the jury, so how would I explain to the jury what question or what information we're talking about?
Your Honor, that's not for you to do, it's for the state to do.
How would I, you're saying it's okay for me to bring the jury in and instruct them that what the attorneys say is not evidence?
That's correct.
About what?
That's for the jury, for them to come back and decide. If the court comments on direct evidence, it is improper. And the court knows
There
that.
was no evidence of your question,
Then why are we talking to the jury if there's no evidence?
because you brought it up and misunderstood what your staff gave you.
So that means that the state has a right to bring that witness back up. That is the way that that is handled. It's not for the court to then impeach me. That's not the way that
Is
that
the
goes.
doctor still around?
No, Your Honor, but she keeps talking about us impeaching her. She is
I
supposed to be
know.
ethical, follow the rules, and not lie to the witnesses.
Okay, so
She wasn't unethical, she was wrong about who sent the text.
that
Maybe
happens.
that's the last time that'll happen.
You're right, Your Honor.
All right, let the jury step back. All right, jump in. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what I was saying next is that questions asked by the attorneys, as I told you yesterday, questions, arguments are not evidence unless it's adopted by the witness, as I said yesterday. there were questions during Dr. Malayla's testimony about a text generated from Ms. Benning that is now acknowledged that text was not from Ms. Benning. So just disregard that information. All right, if you'll step up, please.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, so?
I do.
Sir, could you please tell us your name and spell your first and last name for us?
My name is Keontae Jones. First name Keyaunte, last name Jones, Jones.
And how long have you lived in Nashville?
About 4 years now.
Okay. So are you originally from Nashville, Tennessee?
No, sir.
Why did you come to Nashville?
Came down here for school.
And what school is that?
Meharry Medical College.
And what medical degree are you pursuing?
Doctorate of Dental Surgery.
Where did you go to undergraduate?
Grambling State University.
And when did you graduate from there?
I graduated in fall of 2021.
And when did you begin dental school?
I began dental school fall of 2023.
When you came to Nashville, did you already know anyone here?
No, new person in town.
Did you live on campus or close to the Meharry campus?
Did not live on campus, but I'm in close approximation to campus, yes.
What is your current status as a student at Meharry?
I'm going into my 4th year of dental school.
And how much longer is there to go?
A few more months.
When you came to Nashville, as you told us, you didn't know anyone here. Did you meet fellow dental students and or other people here in Nashville?
Yes, sir. Met quite a few people.
And was one of those individuals Jade Jackson?
Yes, sir.
How did you come to know her?
Hanging out with different people in our class. Went out a couple times. Got lunch, things like that, and then we developed a friendship.
Was she also a student at Meharry
Yes, sir.
in the dental school?
Yes, sir.
Is she still in dental school?
Yes, sir.
Did you come to know at any time a young lady named Jade Benning?
Yes, sir.
And how did that come about?
Through being friends with Najee, just, I guess, developed like a mutual friendship in that sense.
Did you know Jade Benning prior to being introduced through Jade Jackson?
Never met her a day in my life.
So did you know anything about her other than perhaps what Ms. Jackson may have told you?
Only thing I knew about her is what was provided to me through Ms. Jackson.
You recall, I'm not asking specific days, but approximately when you would have met Ms. Benning for the first time?
If I got here in 2022, became friends with Najee approximately 4 months after I moved here in September. Let's say I started to know Jade like beginning of 2023, maybe like February-ish of 2023.
And on how many occasions prior to the date we're going to talk about here in a minute, February the 25th, 2023, how many times approximately would you have seen Ms. Benning?
No more than 2 or 3.
And was that ever just you and Ms. Benning?
Never.
And what sort of settings?
We would be like in a group setting. Yeah, never alone, never personal hangouts, anything of that nature.
Have you ever been to her apartment?
No, not until that day.
until the day we're gonna talk about.
Yes, sir.
Had you ever communicated with her via text, email, or?
I don't even believe I had her number. I don't think I even had her number.
Now, did you know anyone named Blaise Taylor prior to February the 25th of 2023?
No, sir.
Had you ever heard that name before?
Heard of him, but never was familiar with him. I didn't even know what he looked like.
And what was the context of knowing the name?
Simply just knew that this is who Jade was soon to be having a child with.
And again, did you receive that information straight from Ms. Benning or through Ms. Jackson?
No, through Miss Jackson.
Let's move on to February the 25th, 2023. Do you recall the events of that day?
Yes, sir.
And prior to the evening, do you recall anything about what you were doing during the daytime?
I believe that day we had just left the library from like studying. We had just left campus from studying.
And who is we?
Myself and Najee.
So y'all were fellow students,
Yes, sir.
same class,
Yes, sir.
same courses?
Everything.
So we'll pick up there. You finished studying. It's in the afternoon, is that correct?
Yeah, probably about 6 or so, maybe 5, 6.
Okay. And what were your plans for the evening?
I had plans to go home and get ready to hang out with some of my friends. And then I was informed that there was an invitation to perhaps get some food at Jade's house that night.
And was that information from Ms. Jackson?
Yes, sir.
Now, those days of being in college, free food, was that?
It sounded like a good idea, man.
So anything out of the ordinary, was anything unusual about that, really?
No, I knew Jade was a chef, so there was nothing abnormal that she wanted to cook for her friends or anything of that nature.
Had you ever been to the restaurant where she worked as a chef, where Ms. Benning worked as a chef,
No,
or had eaten her cooking?
never.
Okay. So, offer was made. You say, sounds good.
Sounds great.
And what, if anything, did you do after that, as far as getting to where the food was?
I think we may have went to my house, parked my car, and then from there, Najee and myself rode in her car to Miss Benning's house.
And who drove, it being Ms. Jackson's car?
She did.
She drove.
Yes.
Anyone else with you? Just
No, just us two.
at that time, did you know where Ms. Benning lived?
No, I just heard she had just moved into a new apartment, but I was not familiar with the area or, specifics as to where it was.
Did Ms. Jackson drive you to what turned out to be Ms. Benning's apartment?
Yes.
Recall approximately what time you arrived?
Like 7:30-ish, maybe.
This time was just a routine evening so far as everything that you knew.
Just another day to me.
Any reason to be keeping track of time,
No,
directions, or anything?
not at all.
When you arrived at the location, what did you do?
Get out the car, go to this address that we were sent, which obviously was Miss Benning's house. At that point, we knock at the door and we wait for a response.
And was there a response at the door?
Yes.
From that point on, tell us what occurred. Who, if anyone, opened the door?
Jade opened the door.
And what was her appearance or demeanor when the first time you laid eyes on her that evening?
She was in good spirits. I can't remember necessarily maybe like what she was wearing, but I'm assuming it was like loungewear. She was at her house in the comforts of her own home. So assume loungewear, but appearance and everything, she was in good spirits. She was excited to see Najee and even myself at that time. I think we may have hugged, and she welcomed us into her home.
And, I mean, to be repetitive, but was that the first time you had ever set foot inside her apartment?
First time and only time.
From your memory, can you describe anything of what it appeared as you stepped over the threshold into her apartment?
Normal, calm evening. I remember there were, there were small conversations, obviously, maybe some catching up and things like that. But to me, everything seemed normal. There was some food that was just getting done, being prepared. I know when I came in, she wasn't like still hustling around the kitchen, making anything. It was just a calm setting with a pot to the right of me as I walked in. Ahead of me as I walk in is a living room and just calm evening.
Says here, was there a television on, music playing, anything?
I do believe there was like music playing in the background, yes, sir.
This time we talked about 3 people being there.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anyone else besides you, Ms. Jackson, and Ms. Benning?
Yes, there was a gentleman there, yes.
Had you ever seen that individual before in your life?
No.
Were you introduced?
I was introduced, yes.
Okay, and who was the person?
I was then at that point introduced to Blaise.
Right, did you have a last name at that time?
I can't recall, and I don't think so.
Let me just ask before we move on, is the individual that you met for the first time the evening of February the 25th, 2023, here in the courtroom?
Yes, he's here.
Did you indicate to that individual and perhaps tell us an item or two of clothing he's wearing?
I see Mr. Taylor, he's wearing the blue suit.
Did you indicate which individual?
Gentleman to the right of me.
All right, that's the record to indicate he has identified Mr. Taylor. First time you've seen Mr. Taylor, you've heard his name before, correct? I'm sorry, you have to answer.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sorry. Can you describe how he appeared in first impression of what you saw?
First impression, nothing really seemed to strike me as off-putting. Seemed like a decently put together gentleman. He was quiet for the most part. And yeah, like I said, nothing really caught me off guard about meeting Mr. Taylor for the first time.
And you, I believe, referenced some sort of small talk or getting caught up. Did you have any conversation with Mr. Taylor?
If I did, I can't remember. Probably just guy talk, how you doing, something like that. Maybe talked about sports or something of that nature, but nothing overextensive.
When you first saw Mr. Taylor, what, if anything, was he doing?
When I first saw Mr. Taylor when I came in, he was kind of, like I said, to himself, quiet. He was like shuffling some cards, playing with what I believe at the time was like some Uno cards or something like that. And yeah, that's pretty much what he was doing, to himself, quiet, maybe chimed in a few times in the conversation, but just to himself.
And he told us about cooking and there being food prepared, and was that for you to take, at least some of it?
Yes, yes.
Were there any indications of anything else that was happening in the apartment?
As far as what, can you clarify that?
Well, just have food. Did you see anything else that indicated that there was any activity that they were going to be engaged in?
Yeah, at that time there were like some canvases out, and when further questions were asked, it was told that they were going to be having like a paint night.
And understand, if at all, what the purpose of the painting was?
To my knowledge, these paintings were supposed to be for like the baby's room.
was there, I believe you said canvas, was there paint and other items that would go with that?
I mean, paintbrushes, stencils, things of that nature. Yes, sir.
And where were they?
On the kitchen island as well with the canvases.
Did you see any, talk about there being food, any type of beverages, any drinks?
Yeah, I saw like there was some like a glass out, maybe a glass or two, and had like some juice in it or something like that. But from what I can remember, that was all that I saw as far as like beverages.
You remember anything about what color the beverage was?
Some sort of pink juice.
While you were there, did you consume any beverages?
No, I didn't drink anything.
Were you offered anything to drink?
I was. I think I might have been offered maybe some of the juice or either water, but yeah, I wasn't thirsty at the time.
Did you see any alcoholic beverage in sight?
Not to my knowledge that I can recall, no.
It says, how long were you there approximately?
At most 30 minutes.
During this time, did you sit down, watch TV, or were you standing the entire time?
We were standing the entire time, never sat down, no sir.
And during that time, what, if anything, did you observe Mr. Taylor doing other than shuffling the cards?
Didn't necessarily observe him doing anything, like I said, peculiar. I guess there were conversations that were asked as far as to what was going to be like painted. And within those conversations, I remember Jade saying that she was going to be painting a butterfly. And Mr. Taylor, when asked that conversation, I don't want to quote anything wrong, but it was more so something like an ominous and dark image. Maybe he was going to be painting like a dark hole or something like that. I don't know.
And did the butterfly reference mean anything or have any significance to you?
It did, just for the simple fact that at that time, through knowing Jade, I knew that that was her favorite animal.
You're there, the small talk, the catching up. Did you and Miss Jackson at some point leave the apartment?
Yeah, we leave after about, like I said, about 30 minutes, 40 minutes most. We were not there for a long time. And then, yes, after we had our conversation, got the food plated and everything, we left.
During the time that you were there, you recall whether anyone of the four of you were on cell phones or doing anything like that?
No, not to my knowledge. I feel like everyone that was in the room at that time was pretty present in the moment. I don't think there were phones that were, I don't think anyone was on their phone much.
You and Miss Jackson leave. Is there any sign to your observance that there was anything out of the ordinary?
No, not when I left, not at all.
And as far as Miss Benning, was her mood the same as when you got there?
Yeah, she was same Jade. She was happy, bubbly. She, said it was good to see us. And as we left, there was nothing that would have made me presume that, anything was wrong with her.
Were you able to visually observe that she was expecting?
I think at that time, I think she was showing a bump a little bit. I believe so.
Like you said, you already knew that anyway.
Yeah, I knew she was pregnant. Yes, sir.
Where did you and Miss Jackson go after leaving the apartment? What happened?
At that point, we go back to my house, in which, like I said, when we left the library, that's where we initially went to drop my car off. So we go back to my house, and I think she was at my house for maybe another 40 minutes or so while we were eating, things of that nature. And then from there, after about 40 minutes to an hour, she leaves because, as I stated, I was getting ready to hang out with some friends later that evening.
Yes. So did you eat the food at your apartment? And by you, I mean you and Miss Jackson.
Yes, we ate at my apartment.
Okay. Anything unusual about the food?
No,
Was it good?
it tastes pretty good, yeah. Nothing unusual.
So does Miss Jackson then leave your presence?
Yes, sir.
What did you do after Miss Jackson left?
After she leaves, I carry on with my evening. I get dressed. After I get dressed, I go to my friend's apartment to meet them there. And that's where, yeah.
Okay. So while you're at your friend's apartment, were these also fellow students? Or
Graduates. Yeah, they were graduates.
so while you were there, does anything unusual occur?
At that point, I get a phone call, a very frantic phone call from Najee, pretty much, panicking. I can tell she's in distress. She's crying a little bit, and I'm trying to ask her what's going on, and all I can really get out of her is like, "Is something wrong with Jade? There's something wrong with Jade. There's something wrong with Jade."
And were you able to comprehend what was wrong, or?
At the time, no, but I think as I kind of maybe got her to calm down, or she calms herself down, she ends up telling me that like Jade.
Okay, I'll sustain your objection.
So she's frantic, calms down, is able to communicate with you.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, what, if anything, did you do based on that communication?
At that point, I'm on the phone, and now that things have been clarified as to what's going on, she lets me know that Jade wants.
His question was basically what you do next.
What do? I stay on the phone.
Okay. And who, if anyone, was on the phone?
Najee, I think I get merged with Jade.
Yes. And so it's then a three-way.
Three-way conversation.
Were you able to hear the voice of Miss Benning?
Able to hear the voice to make out what was being said? No.
And what, if anything, did you describe the voice you heard of Miss Benning's?
Soft, faint, not within the same coherence of the voice that I had previously just heard an hour ago. It was like we discussed earlier, just the fact that it seemed like she was in distress.
How long did that three-way call last that you were on?
No more than 2 minutes at that point. I think the call might have dropped or something of that nature.
So to say, did you hang up or?
No, I didn't hang up. But she was no longer on the phone with me after 2 minutes.
We've already said this. Did you have any idea at that time what was going on?
No, I didn't have any idea as to what was going on. Just there was two people I knew in distress.
Did you call 911 or?
No.
And why not? What you have told them?
I really don't know what I would have been telling them to do had I called 911. I didn't really know the severity of the situation.
The call drops.
Mm-hmm.
You and Ms. Jackson are at separate locations. Is that it?
Yes, sir.
What, if anything, did you do after the call dropped?
After the call drops, I believe I give Najee a call back, just trying to confirm what's going on. She tells me that she thinks.
Listen, you don't have to say what she blamed. Did you have a conversation with her?
I did.
Okay. And following that conversation, what, if anything, did you do?
I carry on with my night.
Right. At that time, did you have any idea if there was anything that you could do or needed to do?
No, except be there for support.
Well, we'll get to that part. I'm about when you've finished the call, did you learn that you might be needed to go somewhere for support?
Yes, yes. After that call, the second call we're speaking of right now, yes. At that point, I knew I might be needed somewhere later in the evening for support.
And did that in fact turn out to be true?
It did indeed turn out to be true.
And where did you go?
Vanderbilt Hospital.
And let's say, so why did you go there?
Because at this point, I had learned the severity of the situation that was occurring with Miss Benning.
And that you would have been one of the last people to see her,
Or speak with her, yes.
to speak with her.
Both, yes.
When you arrived at the hospital, where did you go?
I pull up and park right in front of the ambulance dock at Vanderbilt, and I was instructed to park in the garage that is right across the walkway.
Who, if anyone, did you see there that you recognized?
At that point in time, I don't believe there was anyone outside that I knew, but I did eventually go and meet with Najee.
And where was Miss Jackson when you first saw her at the hospital?
Either coming down the stairs in the lobby, if I can recall, more so like the lobby, the main area right inside of the emergency room.
Do you recall approximately what time it would have been when you arrived at Vanderbilt?
In between 12:45 and 1:30 a.m.
At any time while you were there, did you see the gentleman that you had met earlier in the evening?
No, didn't see him at all.
Did you, or were you allowed to see Miss Benning at the hospital that night?
That night, no. I did not see Miss Benning that night.
Did you see or speak to any police officers that night?
No.
As the days went on, did you go back to the hospital?
Yes, I went back to the hospital, I believe the next day when the family and friends arrived, again, for support and just because at this point, like I said, the severity of the situation. And then I believe I went back a final time for her birthday.
Was that a larger family gathering?
That was the day that it was decided that the plug was going to be pulled.
Since that night, evening, when you left the apartment, have you seen or spoken to Mr. Taylor again?
No.
What I was getting around to is being personally in the presence of Mr. Taylor, that's not occurred, has it?
No.
Okay. As far as, ask about phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any telephone or cell phone communications where you were involved that Mr. Taylor was on the line?
I believe on 2 instances the night that, things transpired on February 25th.
Yeah, okay. And that's what's around to those conversations. How did that work? Let's talk about the first one.
So the first one was that initial phone call when I was told that, something was going on. I get on the phone with Mr. Taylor and I simply just ask him like, yo, what's going on? Like, is everything good? Like, please tell me you didn't, something didn't happen in that, at the house. And he answers me and says that, nothing happened. He doesn't know what's going on.
And you described Ms. Jackson's tone of voice and what was Mr. Taylor's tone?
I could sense a little bit of panic in his voice, kind of just, I don't know what type of panic, but there was some sort of like panic in his voice.
Now, was there a second communication?
Yes, so
Mr. Taylor.
the second line of communications happens while I'm at my friend's house. I think Najee calls me back and I can hear her and Mr. Taylor like, going back and forth with each other. This is now currently while they're at the hospital. Again, I'm not there, but I'm at my friend's. And I hear them going back and forth with each other. I think she's telling him like, stay away from her, X, Y, and Z. And so I ask her at that point, like, put him on the phone. And when he gets on the phone, I ask him again, I'm like, yo, listen, like, please tell me you didn't do something to that girl. And he again states that he didn't, he doesn't know what's going on. I again reiterate that question and say, bro, please tell me like you didn't do anything to the girl. And again, his word is that he doesn't know what's going on. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything to her. He swears on it.
And what was his tone or demeanor?
Again, like there seems like a little bit of uncertain panic that's going on in his undertone. Like I said, I'm no detective or anything, but like I said, I feel like there was some sort of panic that was perhaps in his voice.
And is that the extent in the final conversation that you had with Mr. Taylor?
That would have been the last time I spoke with him, yes, sir.
Quick part is that you and Ms. Jackson are still in school together, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you know any of Ms. Benning's family or relatives prior to seeing them there in the hospital?
No, just heard of them, word of mouth, but I never met them or anything like that.
Those are my questions, right?
Questions on behalf of Mr. Taylor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Ed Jointer. People just call me Ed. I'm going to be asking you a few questions. If at any time you don't understand, please let me know and I'll try to rephrase.
Gotcha.
Mr. Jones, when you were talking to the state, you said you came to the Nashville area for school, correct?
Yes, sir.
Where did you come from? What state?
Came here from Ohio.
That's where you were born and raised at?
Yes, sir.
And just I want to clear up a few things. You also said that you began Meharry Medical School in the fall of 23?
Well, I was in the online master's program in 2022, and I started actual campus classes fall of 2023. Yes, dental school in fall of 2023.
So fall of 2023 will begin when?
We actually have a MAPS program that begins in about this time. Actually, orientation was just yesterday, but actual on-campus classes start the first week of August.
The first week of August. So the incident that we're here for is February of 2023, correct?
Yeah.
So in February of 2023, where are you in terms of your enrollment? Are you online? What's the deal there?
February of 2023, I would have been in person on campus, a dental student at that point in time.
Okay. And there you met and knew Miss Nigel Jackson,
Yes.
and you all were friends.
Yes.
And so I want to talk to you about before you went over Miss Benning's house.
Okay.
You stated on direct examination that you had planned to go out that evening with your friends.
Yes, sir.
And at some point, you were invited by Miss Jackson to go to Mrs. Benning's house.
Yes, sir.
And you also knew that Blaise Taylor would be at Mrs. Benning's house.
Yes, sir. I believe so.
And so, did you have any reservations about going on a date to Mrs. Benning's house and Blaise was going to be there? Did you feel like you were intruding, is my question?
I can't say at the time. I think, it was more so I knew that they were going to be having like I guess, couples night. So I'd say it was okay, like they could have their time together. But I was told that Jade wanted us to come.
Right. Was it going to be like a double dating situation?
No.
What was your purpose of going there?
Because I had been given the invite to come get food as well.
And so, did you plan to stay long?
No.
So, you were going to get some food and then leave.
Mm-hmm.
1 second. Can I have State's Exhibit 1A, 1B? Commissioner Parmesan?
Yeah, it should be coming up there.
All right. So you talked about going over Miss Benning's house. Does this look like Miss Benning's house as it was in February of 2023?
No, not as it was as February 2023. No, sir.
This is not her apartment?
No, this is her apartment.
Okay. And that's what I'm asking. I'm asking you, is this the apartment that you were at?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. And so you all go over there, and there was some talks about Blaise's demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
And by all accounts, you described him as normal.
Normal, yes, sir.
Nothing was alarming about him.
The only thing that was alarming, like I can attest to, is a comment about painting a black hole. It's the only thing that stood out to me.
I agree. Let's talk about that. You see this? Can you draw a circle around that image right there for me? If you touch your screen, it'll put a circle around it. Do you know what that is?
I can't tell you what it is now.
That's a painting. Is it not?
I can tell you it's a painting, yes, sir.
Does it look like an ominous black hole?
I don't know what it looks like.
Do you know what a black hole looks like?
Dark, kind of how this looks, a little dark as well.
I want to point to, you can draw a smaller hole within inside of that hole. Mr. Jones, is that a dark hole?
It's a white circle.
My question is that a dark hole?
No, sir.
One other thing.
They're gonna clear that,
Okay.
unless you want it still up.
Thanks. Thank you. The state had asked you who was present there. And in this photograph, we see two people here in this corner. You see those two individuals there?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see those two individuals there?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Were they present when you came?
No, sir.
So, at some point, you and Ms. Jackson get your food and you all leave, correct?
Yes, sir.
And where do you go again?
To my house?
And does Ms. Jackson accompany you there?
Yes, sir.
And about how long does she stay there?
As I've stated already, probably about an hour max. I think 40 minutes to an hour.
And how do you, if you remember, how far do you live away from Mrs. Benning?
At most 12 minutes, if you put it in maps.
Okay. So from Ms. Benning's house, you go back to your house, correct?
Yes.
You stay there about an hour.
Yes, sir.
You eat the food.
Eat the food.
It's delicious.
Yes.
And then at some point, Ms. Jackson leaves.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us how long was she gone before you received a call from her?
I can't really recall.
Do you remember feeling like it was quick? Damn, she just left.
I think it was probably about, again, like 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay. So she calls you. And when she calls you, you describe her as being in a panic.
Yes, sir.
And as a result of her calling you, you get on a three-way call with Miss Benning.
Yes, sir.
And so now it's you, Jade, and Isaiah on a three-way call.
Yes, sir.
And you're not able to make out anything that Jade is saying.
Like I said, it just sounded distressed. I believe she might have like maybe said my name or like that she needed help or something of that nature.
So you heard that when you were on the call.
I need you to reiterate that.
I'll rephrase it, no problem.
Yes, sir.
When you were on direct examination with the state, you talked about when you were on a three-way call, it was you, Najee, and Ms. Benning.
Yes,
correct?
sir. Yes, sir.
And when you were on direct examination with the state, you said how you could not ascertain what Ms. Benning was saying, correct?
It was very slurred.
And now on direct examination, you're saying she was saying your name, Keith?
I can't tell you what she was saying.
So which one is correct? Did she say something audible that you could understand, or did she?
It was very muffled. It was very muffled. So no, it wasn't too clear what she was saying.
Okay. But just to be clear, the original call from Najee, you felt that she was in distress and a panic. Najee, correct? When she first called you.
You're asking me was Najee in a panic?
Yes, that's how you described it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so as a result of you experiencing that distress phone call from Najee, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then being on a three-way call with Najee as well as Ms. Benning, correct?
Yes, sir.
Your what you did after that was continue on with your day, correct?
Yes, sir.
You said you went out, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you change your clothes?
At what point in the night?
After the call, and when you got back home,
Yes, sir.
did you change your clothes when you first got back home?
To go out? Yes, sir.
Do you remember what you changed into?
Nah, I couldn't tell you.
So, at some point, while being out, you said you received another call or you made a call?
I can't recall. I just know I was on the phone at some point, me being out.
Okay. And as a result of you being on the phone while you were out, you said you went to Vanderbilt Hospital.
After me being out, yes.
Right, because regardless of what you heard earlier, you still went out with your plans, correct?
Yes, sir.
And while you were out, you got another call. And that call led you to go to Vanderbilt Hospital, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, did you get a visitor's pass that night?
I don't know. I can't recall.
Well, tell the jury, what did you do after you got at Vanderbilt?
When I get to Vanderbilt, obviously I think I check on the person that I'm most connected to in the situation. And at that point, I check on Najee, Miss Jackson.
How do you check on them?
We meet in the emergency room lobby.
Are you able to do that without getting a visitor's pass?
I wouldn't know Vanderbilt's criteria as far as how they go about seeing visitors.
Did you go through a metal detector that night?
I don't think they have metal detectors at the door.
Okay. So if Miss Jackson had a visitor's pass and went through a metal detector to get into Vanderbilt, certainly you would have too, correct?
I would assume so, but like I said, maybe their staff wasn't doing their job that night.
Maybe so. Let's talk about who you encountered once you arrived at Vanderbilt. Did you encounter an officer named Fitz?
I don't believe so.
Did you encounter a Detective Smith?
I don't believe so.
Did you encounter a Officer Kalinsky?
Don't believe so.
Did you talk to law enforcement at all that night?
I don't think so.
At some point during either call, when you were on the phone on the three-way, did you ever hear Blaise say he was about to call 911?
I think I do recall him maybe saying something of that nature.
At any point, did you ever learn that the police wanted to speak with you?
At that particular night, no.
And if the law enforcement wanted to speak to you, would you have been a willing participant?
Yes.
Do you recall an interview with an investigator around April 30th of 2023?
The one that showed up to my house?
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. And do you recall speaking with that investigator?
I do.
And do you recall telling that investigator that no one from law enforcement ever contacted you?
I guess so. I can't recall.
You can't recall?
I don't recall that conversation. I think that was almost 2 years ago.
Would a recording of that conversation refresh your memory and aid you in your testimony today?
If you got it, yes, it would definitely help.
Brief moment, y'all. Now for a moment to just get the audio recording together.
Just have audio or also have a transcript?
I have an audio. I only have one transcription, Your Honor, but I have an audio that way I can provide it also to the state and the hearing.
Or we may need to approach.
Okay, pull out the transcript and see if we can show it to the witness and see if that refreshes his memory.
I have a copy of the transcript, Your Honor.
Okay. Are you wanting to approach the bench?
Yes, Your Honor, as opposed to asking for the jury out.
Okay. You step up. get that here, they're wanting to show you just this transcript or this paper and see if you can just look at the bracketed information at the bottom. Is the question he's wanting to ask you about whether you ever talked to the police. Does that refresh your memory as to what you told the investigators?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then what is your question? You need it back?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Mr. Jones, we were discussing whether or not you recalled having an interview on April 30th, 2023 with an investigator from Cobra. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall stating that at that time, the police did not interview you?
Yes, sir.
And do you also recall stating that, honestly, I was trying to kind of be as far away from the case as possible?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Jones, have you ever been convicted of a misdemeanor theft?
Never been convicted, not to my knowledge, no.
1 second. Not to your knowledge?
Ask and answer.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Sure. I just want to make sure that I understand when you say no, that are you saying it never happened or you don't remember ever being in legal trouble for misdemeanor theft out of Ohio?
I object to that.
Okay, legal trouble. You asked him if he'd been convicted of a misdemeanor theft, and your answer is?
Not to my knowledge, I've never been convicted for a crime.
Okay.
So, 1 second, y'all. Mr. Jones, you are from Ohio, correct?
I stated earlier, yes, sir.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right, let the lawyer step up just a moment. Or any other questions from the state?
I'm always reluctant to say just briefly, but I'll try to do that. Sir, April 2023, was that when the defendants investigator came to your residence?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any advance notice that someone was coming to interview you?
Not at all. I was woken up out of my sleep.
And this person identified themselves. Do you recall who it was?
If they did, they didn't make themselves clear as to who they were, just that they were an investigator of part of this case.
Now, as the police investigation moved along, have you not only been interviewed, but spoken with the prosecutors on several occasions?
Yes, sir. As far as, yes,
In preparation for
this
this
case.
trial?
Yes, sir.
And this being very shortly after this being passed, was that something you were focusing on?
At the time, no. I was probably more so focused on school and, things of that nature.
Is this, you described hearing both Mr. Taylor and Ms. Jackson as panic. You use that word, their voices, the tenor of their voices.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a difference between the two types of panic?
There was a difference. Miss Jackson's, like as I stated, was more so like a frantic, worried panic, and I don't know what language I'm allowed to use in here, but
We're all adults.
Mr. Taylor's was more so like a no shit, I just effed up type of panic.
Those are my questions.
Any other questions?
Sure. Mr. Jones,
Yes, sir.
that description that you just gave while the state was on redirect, oh shit, I fucked up, panic. Have you ever stated that before at any time to anyone?
Yes.
Did you state that to the investigator when he spoke to you on April 30th?
I don't know if that question was even asked in that investigative conversation.
Do you not remember?
As I already stated, that was about 2.5 years ago, so no, I don't recall.
And would, if given the opportunity to review a transcript of that conversation, would that refresh your memory and aid your testimony here today?
I think it would. Can I ask, sir, where would you like me to be reading, or should I read the whole thing?
Take a moment, read all of it.
Can I ask, is there a specific place that you want me to read? I've read over it, but nothing, I'm not getting where this is leading.
not for you to get Wednesday, and so did you read all of it?
I mean, we would be here a while if I read all of it.
It's worth it. Please take the time to familiarize yourself with it.
Okay. Okay, I think I've seen enough.
Did you read all of it, sir?
I didn't.
Did you read all of it, please?
Okay, just read whatever page, last page. You didn't read.
All right, while he's doing that, maybe we approach briefly.
Okay. Okay, now what's your question?
So, Mr. Jones, the description you gave that Mr. Taylor was, oh, I fucked up, Patty. Have you ever given that statement to anyone at any time?
Yes.
When?
When I met with the DA.
When was that?
First time I probably gave that testimony was back in February.
Of this year?
Yes.
Okay. And did you talk to Detective Reese on February 28th of 2023 by phone?
I don't know who Detective Reese is.
So if he said he spoke to you, you don't recall that?
Is that who this person is?
No, sir.
I don't know who Detective Reese is.
Thank you. No further questions.
Just you, Mr. Jones, having read this transcript, did you see anywhere in there where you were asked the question to describe or asked to describe the panic that you testified here today? Were you ever asked that?
I don't see that question presented in this document.
All right. But we asked you, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
That's all.
Any other questions?
Mr. Jones, you understood that the purpose of that visit was to get information about what happened and what information you may have had as it related to Jade Benning, correct?
Sure. Yeah, I guess.
No further questions, John.
Mr. Jones, when did you realize that that person who came and tried and got this information from you was working for Mr. Taylor?
After I had already had this conversation to give them the information they requested.
That's all.
Any other questions?
No questions from Ms. Wintershaw.
Thank you. Who's the next?
Andrea Rose. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, so help you God? I do.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I could I have State's Exhibit 1A and 1B,
Oh,
please?
They're going to show you something that'll show up on that screen.
Okay.
Ma'am, could you please state and spell your name for the record?
Andrea Rose, ANDREAROSE,
And Ms. Rose, where are you employed?
Nashville Fire Department.
How long have you been with Nashville Fire?
It'll be 4 years in October
And how are you currently employed with Nashville Fire?
as a paramedic.
Okay, have you been in that capacity the entire time with Nashville Fire?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And were you on duty February 25th, 2023?
I was.
Did you respond to an incident located at 1522 Lebanon Pike, apartment 107?
Yes,
Was that here in Davidson County?
it was.
Do you recall what you initially were told you were responding to, what the dispatch was for?
I believe it was an allergic reaction.
And were you in the ambulance?
Yes,
Driver or passenger?
passenger.
Were you the first medic on the scene?
I was.
Ms. Rose, can you describe to the jury what you remember when you first got there?
I don't recall who took us. I don't know if he took us to the patient or if he met us at the door. I don't remember any of that. I just first thing I remember was seeing Miss Benning on the bed.
Okay, I'm gonna publish something for you.
Do you recognize this?
I do.
Okay. Can you tell the jury what this is?
This is the apartment where when you walk in.
And these two females right here, they were not present, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you mentioned a male. Do you see that male in the courtroom today?
I do.
Okay, could you point him out and describe something he's wearing for the court, please?
Yep, he's right over there wearing a blue suit and
Ms. Rose, do you recall what Mr. Taylor's demeanor was like on that 25th?
Yes, it was very frantic.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
It was very anxious.
And what did you do when you got in that apartment?
First thing, we went to Miss Benning, and we turned her over.
What are we looking at right here?
That's the bed that Miss Benning was in.
Okay, and you can draw on that screen, can you show the jury how Ms. Benning was positioned on that bed?
Yeah, she was laying long ways like that with her head this way.
And right here, what am I circling?
That's where she had vomited.
Okay, and what did that look like?
It was like a pink frothy sputum.
Okay. And were you trying to get any medical information from Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Did he give you anything?
He just told us that she was pregnant, and he couldn't tell me how far along she was, nothing, no medical history or anything like that.
Okay. Was he saying anything while you were in the apartment?
Yes, he did say that she ate bad food. That's what he kept telling us.
And was the scene considered safe?
Initially, yes, but by the time we tried doing patient care, no.
Okay, and what do you mean by try to do patient care?
We tried to assess the patient. Like I said, we tried rolling her over, and he would not allow us to. He just kept being very handsy with the patient and not allowing us to properly take care of the patient.
Did you perform CPR on Ms. Benning inside the apartment?
I did not.
Why?
Because the scene was not safe. So for the patient's well-being, it was better off just to get her to the truck. We call it load and go. But the scene's not safe, that's what we do.
Mr. Wright, if I could get the computer, please. And Ms. Rose, when you rolled Ms. Benning over, can you describe to the jury what her condition was like?
She was unresponsive, no pulse, was limp.
I'm gonna hand something up.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Rose, do you recognize that?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay.
Do you create a report for every incident you respond to?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And what normally goes in a report?
Pretty much a summary of what goes on with each call. Basically, we just put what medic unit we were in, saying that we were dispatched to what address, what type of call it was, and then what kind of interventions we do while we're there. And then we just put that we took the patient to the hospital, and then we put that we got a signature, or that we gave a report to the oncoming crew at the hospital. And basically just get signatures from them, and we make sure we put that in here just so it's clear. And then once we get the signatures, that patient care is transferred over.
Okay, and did it appear to you that Ms. Benning was suffering from an allergic reaction?
No, it did not.
Okay, can you tell the jury why not?
Allergic reaction usually is, they have symptoms such as like a swelling tongue, like a closed airway, hives, itching, and Ms. Benning did not have any of that.
What are we looking at on this first page of the EMT report?
So the top part, I guess the very top part is the patient's name, the address, age, birthday, and then the big paragraph is a summary of the call. And then after that, any medications, allergies, food allergies, anything like that, which I was unable to get. And then after that, the top part of this one is what heart rhythm that the patient was in. Again, she was in cardiac arrest. So once we got on the monitor, it showed PEA. That's what I have there.
What is PEA?
Pulseless electrical activity.
Did you ever try to use the paddles on Ms. Benning?
They were placed, but we never got to use them.
Okay, why not?
Because we do not shock PEA.
And why is that?
It just doesn't do anything for the heart. The best thing to do would be epi, which we did.
I'm gonna jump out to this. What are we looking at right now?
All the 0 over 0 is a blood pressure, so she never had blood pressure, and all the zeros to the right is her pulse. She never had a pulse at all.
And can you walk the jury through what the procedures were you did once you got to Ms. Benning to try to save her life?
Yes, so like I said, when we got to her, we realized that she didn't have a pulse, she wasn't breathing, so we got her loaded to the truck, which is where we actually started the CPR. And then we did the IV, so we could give her drugs through the IV, such as Epi and Narcan. And then we gave her oxygen, put her on the cardiac monitor, and we intubated her with an eye gel, so that way we can breathe for her since she wasn't breathing for herself.
Okay, and what would Epi do for Ms. Benning?
It tries to excite the heart, get the heart pumping again.
And what about Narcan?
Narcan is for to see if we can reverse any side effects of opioids.
Did Ms. Benning respond to the Epi or the Narcan?
No, she did not. Not for us anyway.
And once you got Ms. Benning in the truck, do you recall seeing anyone else?
On scene, yes, once we got in the truck, we saw a female.
Okay. Can you describe to the jury what that female demeanor was like?
Yeah, she was very upset, very scared, was very concerned about Ms. Benning, asking if she was going to be okay, asking what was wrong with her. She eventually tried getting in the truck too, but we told her we can't have her in there. And so, yeah, she was very, very concerned.
Okay. And the female that showed up and Mr. Taylor's demeanor, can you describe to the jury if they were similar or if they were different and how so?
They were very different. The female seemed, like I said, very concerned for the patient, trying to figure out what was wrong with her, and the male just felt like he was just more anxious and just trying to, like I said, be very handsy, like not wanting us to do anything, not wanting us to touch her, and he wanted to try to take over from us.
Okay. At any point, did you see Mr. Taylor crying?
Never.
At any point, did Mr. Taylor ask you if Ms. Benning was going to be okay?
Never.
At any point, did Mr. Taylor try to get in the ambulance with Ms. Benning?
Never.
What are we looking at here?
So this is the GCS. So she had a GCS of 3, which means she was never verbal, never alert, just had no reaction to anything from us.
And at some point during your assessment of Ms. Benning, did you call Vanderbilt Hospital?
I did.
And why is that?
We like to call them ahead of time, let them know what we've got coming in. I let them know that we're coming in emergency traffic with this patient, cardiac arrest, CPR in progress, and that she was pregnant as well. That way they can get more staff readily available before we get there.
Did you transport, did the ambulance go with lights and sirens?
Yes.
Okay, and why is that?
Because the patient was critical. She was in cardiac arrest, so we would go lights and sirens with that to get to the hospital faster.
I want to talk a little bit about the time. It looks like you arrived at Ms. Benning around 9:50 p.m. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And you departed only 10 minutes later?
Correct.
Is it typical to be moving that fast with a patient like Ms. Benning?
Yes.
And why is that?
Any critical patient, we try to get them to the hospital as soon as we can. We don't like to waste any time on scene.
And you got Ms. Benning to Vanderbilt 12 minutes later to Vanderbilt? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And am I correct in saying that all life-saving measures started once you got in the ambulance?
Correct.
Okay. And why is that?
Because the scene was not safe, so we could not perform CPR immediately like we would like to have done.
And at any point in your care of Ms. Benning, was she ever responsive?
Never.
Did she ever have a pulse?
Never.
Okay. And once you released here to Vanderbilt, is that when your involvement with this case stopped?
Yes, that's correct.
I wonder if you'll give me 1 minute. So I'm going to submit that as the state's next exhibit, page 5, the EMT report.
Okay, you give that to them.
And those are all my questions, Ms. Rose. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. How do you get started? I know it's 3 o'clock. I don't know if it might be a good number.
It's 3:05, but go ahead. breaking right after this with.
Good afternoon, it's Miss Rose, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna do my best to remember that, because I know your report says Miss Agrawal.
Yes, sir.
So I apologize, because at the top of my notes here, I have Agrawal written on every page. And so
Oh, that's okay.
I hope I don't confuse that.
That's okay.
The report that you create, that's been introduced, that's something you created in every case, is that right?
That's correct.
And so sometime, obviously not when you're in the middle of a call, but sometime later, you collect all the information and everything you remember, and you write it down in the report, right?
That's correct.
And it's important for you to be thorough and include all the information, right?
Yes.
And so, especially in a serious situation like this, where several years later, you've got to come testify, is that kind of what you use to refresh your recollection?
Yes.
So, it's not a super long report. It's about maybe five pages or so. Does that seem about right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's got a lot of like technical details in it, right?
Correct.
And a little narrative about what happened. Is that right?
Yes.
Were there other materials that you reviewed and preparing for your testimony today?
Just the report.
Just that report?
Yep.
Did you have like a real clear, independent recollection of this night?
Yes, it was pretty clear.
Very clear.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something about this night that allowed you to recall specifically 3 years later?
I mean, losing a baby is pretty kind of traumatizing.
Did you follow this case along afterwards?
No.
Okay. So how did you know that the baby passed away?
I mean, I reached out the next day and got a report, but past that, no.
Okay. So you did follow up the day later,
Yeah, just a day later.
but not a week later or 10 days later?
Nope.
And you've done some case prep.
Yes.
So you know that there was a murder charge that we're here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Taylor's on trial, right?
Yep.
So went to the grand jury and there's been an investigation and all that stuff?
Correct.
Okay. And you've met with the district attorney's office and prepared for your testimony here today?
Correct.
But the only notes or anything that you've kind of used has been this report that's been introduced?
Yep.
Okay. So, I'm going to ask you a few questions about kind of how you ended up out there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, your initial call in this report is that you were actually dispatched for an overdose, is that right?
So I don't recall because the cab kept changing. He kept telling dispatch different things throughout the cab, or throughout the report.
But that report, the very first line in your narrative says you're dispatched for an overdose, is that right?
That's what it says, but again, this was 2 years ago, so, I mean,
So you don't actually remember why that is in that report?
whatever's in my report is all I remember.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm asking, the report says you were dispatched for an overdose, is that right?
Again, I don't recall. I remember the allergic reaction part. He kept telling dispatch different things. That's all I remember.
Well, hang on a second, let me back up a second. You're not on the call with dispatch, right?
We get updates through dispatch on our cab.
Okay, so you can see like a CAD scrolling along in the
Yes.
vehicle? And so you're seeing, we got new information, it's an allergic reaction. We got new information, it's an overdose. We got new information, it's something else.
Correct.
Okay. So you specifically remember seeing that on this call?
Correct.
Okay, what time was it changed from an overdose to an allergic reaction?
I don't have the exact times.
How many times was it changed between an overdose and an allergic reaction?
I don't recall.
If I passed you a copy of the CAD report, I'll have to pull it. If I passed you a copy of the CAD report, how can you show me where in there it shows that it was listed as an overdose?
Possibly.
Okay. I have it right there.
Thank you, sir.
So the question is, I know that was a little bit of conversation, but at what point during in that CAD report, does it list this call as an overdose?
So this is not our CAD report. This is PD's CAD report. That's totally different.
So is there another CAD report out there
There is,
from the fire department?
yes,
That is a different, or from EMS,
correct.
that is a different report.
That's what I said, yes, sir.
And that's generated by, not by 911 emergency communications?
It should be, but this is not the same report.
That's not the same report.
Mm-mm.
There is an actual 911 CAD report
That's correct.
that has additional information.
Yes, that's correct.
Alright? Now, clear that I have that report. Do you know where those reports are generated?
I do not.
Do you know who maintains those reports?
I do not.
Do you know who inputs information into those reports?
I do not.
But you get information from those reports when you come out to a call.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so at some point you believe that there is information in that CAD report that says, this is an overdose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you wrote down in your report, that it was believed that this was an overdose. Yes?
Yeah, whatever I saw in that CAD report is what I put in my report.
Do you have any idea where the information came from that this might be an overdose?
Probably, I don't know how 911 dispatch does their stuff. 911 dispatch gives us what they hear, and that's what we go off of.
So it's possible that it was like a description of symptoms that could have caused them to classify it as an overdose?
I guess you could say that. I mean, like I said, they tell us what it is, and then they can change throughout before we even get there. It can change from an overdose, it can change to an allergic reaction, it can change. It changes throughout the whole time. So
sometimes clearly someone calls and says, hey, we were taking drugs, we were shooting up, and they passed out. And that's an easy, like, we know it's an overdose, right?
can you repeat that?
Sometimes there's an emergency call where someone is doing drugs and they pass out, right? Like they're shooting up and they just fall out, right?
Yes.
There are calls like that.
Yes.
And 911 knows that that's a clear overdose.
Not always.
Not always?
People don't always tell the truth to dispatch.
Sure. You're absolutely right. And I apologize. I'm being a little bit presumptive here. But occasionally, maybe 911 has a little bit clearer idea that there are drugs involved in this situation. They have been told that there are drugs involved in this situation. And they know that's an overdose. Put that way over on this end of the spectrum, right?
Sure.
Sometimes maybe is it fair to say there's situations where they just get like a description of symptoms? And then they're guessing that it's maybe an overdose?
Sometimes, just depends on the call.
But you don't know from this situation, you don't have a memory in your CAD of why they called this an overdose?
No. It must have been what he said to 911, I'm not sure. Again, that would have to be a conversation with 911, what they were told to dispatch.
Okay, that's interesting. So what you just said, it must have been what he said, right?
Yeah, we don't know what callers tell dispatch.
You don't know what he said, right?
No.
Did you receive any information during this case about what Mr. Taylor told 911?
It's very vague. It says either what type of call it is, where the patient's at, the address, possibly the age. That's that.
So do you have any reason to believe that any specific information that suggests that Mr. Taylor told 911 that Ms. Benning was overdosed?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I clarified. The call maybe have come in as an overdose. I don't remember. You'd have to look at the 911 CAD. And if it changed to an allergic reaction, which obviously it did, we would know that on the CAD.
So you're just assuming that he would have told them that it was a drug overdose?
That's what the CAD said.
That the caller said it was a drug overdose?
Yeah. The CAD comes in and says either overdose, allergic reaction. That's what we go off of. And we don't know anything until we get to the scene.
Okay. So we somehow changed, and you don't know how many times it changed, right?
No, not off the top of my head.
Okay. And I apologize, I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, but I'm trying to understand because I don't think I have that CAD report. So I'm trying to understand how this works. Okay? So, and the information you had was that at the time of the call, the patient was breathing normally, right?
Yep.
And that was the information, that's what's in your report.
Before we got there, yes. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Before you arrived. Now, you noted, and I'm going to take a quick sidestep here. You've been with the Nashville Fire Department for 4 years, right?
Correct.
And you are an actual paramedic?
Correct.
Did you work somewhere else before Nashville Fire Department?
Not as a paramedic.
Were you an advanced EMT somewhere else?
No.
Do you have other medical training or background?
Yes, I've been an EMT in a hospital since 2012, different hospitals.
So you have a pretty good amount of experience in the medical profession.
Yes.
Do you have a significant amount of experience responding to emergency calls then?
Yes.
In your significant experience then, can medical crises happen quickly?
Yes.
And can an individual's medical condition change quickly?
Yes.
Is it always easy or always possible to predict how quickly someone's medical condition can change?
No.
So is it possible that Ms. Benning was in fact breathing during the call and that within the 10 minutes it took for EMS, the fire department, to respond that she stopped breathing?
It's possible, but we don't know for sure.
Sure, we don't know, but it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you mentioned this, I just want to make sure while we're looking at this first part, you did know, Mr. Taylor did tell you guys right up front that Ms. Benning was pregnant, right?
After we asked him, yes.
Okay. So you were asking him questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get some basic information,
Correct.
is that correct? And he was answering your questions?
Correct. Well, we asked him about medical history, and all he could tell us is that she was pregnant. He couldn't tell us how far along, nothing. So that's the only thing he told us.
Okay. And you don't know whether he just doesn't know a lot, do you?
We don't know. He couldn't answer anything.
Sure, okay. But he did tell you that she was pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay. If I could see Exhibit 5, I think the most recently introduced exhibit.
A report,
The report, yes.
you want her to see it?
No, I'd like to see it. I think we can do some of this. John? I'm Unfortunately, I apologize. I don't have a very fancy presentation with little things snipped out, so we'll kind of have to do this the old-fashioned way. I have to hit a button here.
No.
Let me see here. I want to talk for a second about the timeline of this call. Let me get to this page. Okay. Okay. This portion of the report right here, do you recognize that?
I do.
Is it accurate to say this provides information about when various things occurred during the call?
Yes.
So the very first entry, what does PSAP stand for?
I honestly have no idea. Maybe what time the call came in. I'm not sure. We don't do anything with the times until unit dispatched.
So it's the very first entry in this report, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 2138, I'm so terrible with military time, but what's 2138?
9:38 p.m.
9:38. So potentially that's when the call was initially made to 911, right?
Correct.
The next entry is dispatch notified 2140. That's 2 minutes later, right?
Correct.
And is that the time between the call was made and they're finally dispatching you guys, telling dispatch we need somebody to get out on the road?
Unit dispatched is what time they contact us.
Okay, it's the same time between dispatch notified and unit dispatch 2140 and 57 seconds.
Correct.
So almost identical. That's you guys getting out, being told you need to get out on the road.
Correct.
And we don't know why there's a 2-minute delay up at the very top there.
No.
You are en route 941.
Correct.
You are at the scene 7 minutes later at 9:48.
Correct.
You are at the patient 2 minutes after that, 9:50.
Correct.
You depart 10 minutes after that at 10 o'clock.
Correct.
And you get to the hospital 12 minutes after that,
Correct.
right? That seems about accurate to your recollection of that night.
Yes.
One thing I wanted to kind of clarify from your testimony before is you had sort of discussed this set of readings that you had, blood pressure, pulse, all this stuff, right?
Correct.
And this is the only set of readings that's included in your report.
Correct.
So the time on those readings begin at 21:57 and 30 seconds.
Correct.
Right? But we had just seen that you had actually arrived at 21:40 and gotten to the patient at 21:50.
I mean, it's very easy for times to get mixed up in an emergency.
Okay.
It's an estimate, pretty much.
Is it possible that this set of readings starting 7 minutes later is from when you got Miss Benning into the truck?
Possibly.
So we're not totally sure what her blood pressure, pulse, all that other stuff would be like the minute you got there and got to her at 12:50.
We do know because I manually checked it.
Well, let me ask about this. There is a note that her cardiac rhythm on arrival is sinus tachycardia.
Correct.
What is sinus tachycardia?
A fast heart rate.
Fast heart rate. So when you arrived, she had a fast heart rate.
In the ER, that's where it says ROSC in the ER and the ED. They got ROSC back when we got there.
Okay, in the emergency department.
Correct.
Right. But at arrival, she had a fast heart rate.
No, that's not correct.
Well, it says cardiac rhythm on arrival at destination.
Correct. When we got her to the ER and got her over, that's when she had the sinus tach.
At the emergency department.
Correct.
So where is it that is the arrival on this?
Can you say that again?
Arrival where?
PEA, the arrival event,
PEA is what she was in the whole time that we were with her.
and that's like no heart rate.
Correct.
So sinus tachycardia is when they got to the emergency department.
Yes, after our care was transferred over already.
And that's after she's being administered Epi and Narcan and whatever else.
Correct. No, that worked.
So let me ask, is it possible that her heart rate, like we sort of mentioned, her heart rate breathing condition could have changed in a minute?
Or telling it's possible.
It's possible.
Don't know for sure.
So she could have been breathing, could have had a heart rate at 9:45,
Yeah, I can't tell you what it was before we got there.
but it is possible.
It's possible.
Especially, well, we haven't really talked about any of this toxicology stuff yet, but in your experience with a drug overdose, can drug overdoses happen quickly?
Yep.
I noticed you gave her Narcan.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you give her Narcan?
In case it was an overdose.
Were there signs and symptoms that made you believe it might be a drug overdose?
I mean, any overdose could possibly cause cardiac arrest, but it's just protocol. Any cardiac arrest, we give Narcan regardless.
Is that just protocol nowadays?
Yep.
In your substantial experience dealing with medical emergencies, serious medical events, do the people who are present for serious medical emergencies, serious medical events, always react the same
No.
to those events? No? Can you explain that a little bit?
I mean, it is what it is. Everybody acts differently.
Okay. Is it fair to say that being present for a really serious medical emergency is a traumatic event?
Yes.
So is it fair to say that sometimes people react differently to traumatic events?
Yes.
Sometimes people are calm, cool, and collected. They're always right on doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Is that, sometimes you see that?
I've never seen that.
Sometimes people are screaming and crying and shouting.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people are, I don't even know what other options there are, but there's lots of ways that people react. Is that right?
Correct.
Can you always predict how someone's going to react?
No.
I know that you testified about Mr. Taylor being anxious, panicky, and there were some questions about contrasting his reaction to the woman's reaction you showed him.
Correct.
Are you able to say, well, I know why that they reacted differently?
No.
Because you've been around a lot of different medical events, right?
Correct.
And in your experience, sometimes people react differently.
Correct.
Now, I know there's some discussion about, use the words it wasn't a safe environment. That's like a technical term, right?
Correct.
And I don't know if you have codes or whatever the thing is, but you probably have a procedure. If you can't do your work in a space, you have to remove them. Is that
Correct.
right? And that's what happened here.
Correct.
And you said Mr. Taylor was sort of getting in your way a little bit.
Yes.
That's kind of my lay term way of describing it. If I was understanding what you were describing, was he trying to like lift her off the bed? Is that what was going on?
Yes.
And that wasn't what he was supposed to be doing.
No.
Right? Were you asking him not to do that?
Yes.
And he was, is it fair to say he was upset?
Seemed anxious.
Anxious. Okay. He was having a reaction to the situation. Is that a fair way of putting it?
Yes.
Putting exact words to describe it may be tough because we're all going to have different ways of wanting to frame that, right?
Right.
He was having a reaction to it.
Right.
And so, was it your impression? Please tell me this is not a great question, but was it your impression that his sort of getting in the middle of you guys trying to work was somehow related to his reaction to the situation?
Can you repeat that again?
Right. That's a tricky question. Okay, I'm going to do my best. Do you think, just by what you saw, what you experienced, you kind of being there in the moment, that his getting in the middle, trying to lift her off the bed, not listening to you, the things that you described, did it seem to you that that was related to his reaction to the situation?
Possibly, could be. I don't know for sure.
That's fair. I appreciate that. And similarly, you kind of noted this other woman showed up a little bit later, and she had her own kind of reaction to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Correct.
And it was different.
Correct.
And we've been trying to put some kind of words to it, but there were different reactions.
Yes.
Right? Right, just a second. So, if I could just ask, if Mr. Taylor was getting so far in your way that you couldn't do your job, couldn't do what you needed to do inside the apartment, that wasn't in your report, was it?
No, I don't believe so.
Why wasn't it in your report?
It's easy to forget things like that in your report. There's a lot to try to remember to put in there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yes. All right. You ready to read?
Yes, sir. Ms. Rose, you did put in your report that he was not listening to you.
Did I? Unless I don't have my report anymore.
You said, and would not listen to you.
Okay, yeah, that's correct. And acting hysterical, yes.
And we talked a lot about the CAD. The info from the CAD report comes from the 911 operator, so the 911 audio would be the basis for that CAD report. Is that fair?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Mr. Brand also talked to you about, is it possible she hadn't been breathing for just a few minutes? Is it also possible she could have not been breathing for 20 minutes?
Correct, it is possible.
Okay. He also noted about the timing that CPR didn't start until 9:57, 7 minutes later. And that's because Mr. Taylor was not listening to you and you could not try to save her life in the apartment. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you know the allegations in this case that he is alleged to have poisoned Miss Benning and her unborn baby.
Correct.
Did he act like he was concerned for the health of Miss Benning and her baby, or did he act like he was in trouble?
More like he was in trouble.
Okay, could you describe that for the jury?
Yes, he was just very anxious. Like again, he was not listening to any direction that we were trying to give him. He just acted very frantic, just constantly just having his hands like this and just pacing and trying to get in our way and just, like I said, just very anxious.
Okay, could you demonstrate that one more time? I'm not sure the entire jury saw what you were.
Yeah, he just had his hands like this and like pacing and just like freaking out.
And when you rolled Miss Benning over, well, I guess, let me ask it this way. At what point was Mr. Taylor trying to touch Miss Benning?
It was immediately. The second we rolled her over, he tried to get his hands on her and try to control what we were doing.
And when you rolled Miss Benning over, is that when you saw the pink frothy stuff on her mouth?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And was it also on the comforter?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And Miss Benning was limp?
Yes, correct.
Those are all my redirect questions, Your Honor.
Any other questions?
Yes, thank you. Ms. Rose, control what you were doing is a very strong word. Was he removing your hands from her body?
Every time we tried to touch her, he would grab exactly where we were trying to grab.
Okay. Was he removing your hands from her body?
He never physically touched me, no.
Never physically touched. He was not removing your hands from her body?
No.
Was he pushing you away?
No.
Was he getting in front of you to keep you from touching her?
Yes.
Standing between you and Miss Benning?
Yes, he was trying to touch her while I was trying to assess her.
Was he standing physically between you and Miss Benning?
Next to her, yes.
Was he standing physically between you and Miss Benning?
No.
No. Thank you. Were you able to lift Miss Benning off the bed?
We tried to, and we had to wait for our firefighters to get there.
Okay, so you and your partner, Ms. Baldwin,
Mhm.
is it correct, you were not physically able to lift her off the bed?
Correct.
Did Mr. Taylor lift her off the bed?
Yes,
I know he wasn't supposed to, but did he?
he did.
Okay. So when you say he was putting his hands out there, like, as if he was trying to be helpful?
No.
Misguided, but as if he was trying to be helpful?
No.
So he's like moving your hands off?
I told you he did not physically touch me.
Okay, but he's getting his hands in the way, but he's not
Yes.
shooting your hands off, is he?
Yes. We told him not to do that so we could do our assessment, and he did not listen. He kept touching her.
But he's touching her, he's not shooting your hands off, right?
Correct, that's what I said.
Okay, so he's touching her, which he's not supposed to. So let me ask this question, because you've sort of testified that he has, is anxiety as a guilty person's anxiety as opposed to a worried person's anxiety, and I want to explore where you are drawing that opinion from. So a worried person who's not listening, how would a worried person who's not listening be behaving in that situation?
Again, it's hard to tell. She asked me my opinion, so I told her my opinion.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's get the basics of that opinion. So he's touching her, he's not listening. If he was a worried person not listening, how would that be different?
I feel like if he was worried, he would have let us do our job to try to save her.
Okay, but you said people react in all sorts of different ways to trauma, right?
Correct.
Okay, so a worried person reacting to trauma and getting in the way and just not listening, how would that be different from someone that you're testifying is kind of nefariously doing it?
Can you repeat that?
Okay, if he was worried and not listening to you, how would that be different?
I just feel like if anybody was trying to be wanted the best for the patient, they would let medical professionals do what they need to do.
That is ideal. I do understand that would be the ideal situation. But, and you and I discussed this a little bit earlier, not everybody reacts to trauma in the same way, isn't that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Sometimes people are hysterical, sometimes people are screaming and crying, all sorts of different ways, right?
Correct.
Do sometimes people not listen to you when they're reacting to trauma?
I've never personally experienced that, but maybe it's possible.
In all your years, you've never had someone not listen to you?
Not when it comes to family members and bystanders, no.
Okay. So, I guess tell me, he didn't stop you from doing your work, did he?
In the house, yes, that's why we had to take her out.
Well, hang on a second. He didn't tell you, no, you can't do your work here, right?
Correct.
Do you have any reason to believe that Mr. Taylor has medical training?
I have no idea.
Do you have any reason to believe that Mr. Taylor has knowledge or experience with paramedic or National Fire Department protocols?
I have no idea.
Do you have any reason to believe that Mr. Taylor would know or should have known that if he tries to help, you can't do your work?
I have no idea.
So when you say he was trying to stop you from doing your work, why would he have any reason to believe that his misguided efforts to help would stop you from doing your work?
I'm not sure.
So then help me understand when you were saying his anxiety is like this, and that kind of looked like seemed like he was caught or he was guilty, whatever the words that you used, I can't remember what they were. How does this to you, or whatever his facial expressions were, seem like he was somehow conveying guilt or something?
I just said he looked anxious.
Anxious, right, but when you were on redirect examination, you had a different description for it. It's not just anxious. Like you thought he had gotten caught or something else, what were the words you used?
I don't recall. She was asking me, and I agreed. I mean, someone who walks around like this looks anxious, and to me, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but can't that anxiety just be like, oh my God, the person I was just with just passed out and is now being taken away by EMS and an ambulance?
Could be.
Okay, doesn't necessarily mean that you did anything, does it?
Can't tell.
Okay. So your impression is that it meant something bad?
All I say is that he looked anxious and hysterical.
Okay, and you have no idea, you never met Mr. Taylor before, right?
Nope.
You've never seen him respond to an emergency?
Nope.
You've never seen him respond to a medical situation?
Nope.
So you don't know how he reacts to a medical emergency?
That's correct.
You don't know if that is his perfectly normal, natural reaction to a medical emergency?
That's correct.
Okay? And so you don't know if that is his absolutely 100% normal reaction to a medical emergency?
Nope, not sure.
Right? So the suggestion a minute ago that there was somehow something unnatural about that reaction, you don't have a basis for that.
I said he looks like it, doesn't mean that's true. That's just a description of what he looked like.
Okay, but you don't really have a basis for that, do you?
No.
Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
motion, Your Honor, may we release this witness? Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the jury, if you'll step down the hallway, we'll take a short break. And who will the next witness be?
Officer, pardon me, Officer Jack Pfeiffer.
Okay. All right, we'll take a 15-minute recess.
Court's in a 15-minute recess.
you'll step up. Why?
You swear the testimony you're about to give to the truth, so help you God.
Sir, can you please tell us your name and spell your first and last name for us?
My name is Jack Pfeiffer. First name is Jack. Last name is Pfeiffer.
And although it may be fairly obvious to us, could you tell us about whom are you employed?
I work for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
How long have you been with the Metro Nashville Police Department?
A little over 4 years.
And what are your current duties and assignments with the police department?
So I work on patrol in Midtown sector precinct. I am a field training officer and also a maritime officer as well.
And what is a field training officer in the FTO?
So a field training officer deals with training anybody new that's going from the academy and kind of bringing them through training in the actual field environment outside of the academy. My duties as a maritime officer is boat enforcement. So if you see us on the rivers and on the lakes inside Davidson County, we would be the people that are dealing with that issues of, putting on the influence other stuffs of like disorderly issues on the lake.
And do you hold currently any particular rank with the police department?
No.
Okay. But as an FTO in maritime, do you train other officers now?
Correct.
Okay. Directing your attention to February of 2023, particularly the evening of the 25th into the early morning hours of February 26th, were you working for the police department?
Yes.
And what were your duties at that time?
I was a patrol officer at the time in the Midtown area that I currently still work.
And just generally, what is the Midtown area?
So we have 9 precincts that divide Davidson County, and I work in Midtown, which is that precinct. It goes from essentially 40 to parts of 440, all the way down to the county line off 65 and Knowlesville area. We cover probably over 200 to 300,000 people.
Does it include the Vanderbilt University Medical Center?
Correct, it does.
And back on, again, the evening of the 25th, morning of the 26th, were you dispatched to a call at Vanderbilt University Medical Center?
I was.
Do you remember approximately what time it was, the day or night?
It was, I think, closer to like 11 o'clock at night.
And when you were dispatched there, did you have any real specifics about what you were going for?
The only specifics we were given is the call for service that we are given, which is, somebody calls us and gives us their description of what they want us to come out and deal with. We had gotten a call from Vandy about some poisoning that had occurred, a belief of poisoning at least.
When you say we, the police department, received that, and that information was sent to you?
Correct.
And did you go to the Vanderbilt campus?
I did. I went to the Vanderbilt ER.
And were you familiar with that location?
Yes.
Were you given, before you arrived there, the names or descriptions of any individuals to look for?
Not, from my recollection, I don't remember exactly who, but the Vanderbilt Police Department had advised us of names of people to look for, and we had, and who to talk to.
So fair to say Vanderbilt was assisting, or at least helping to some extent, with names and other information.
Correct.
Did you ever talk to a doctor
No.
or a nurse?
No.
Now, when you arrived, were you in uniform?
Yes.
And as part of that uniform, did it back in February 2023 include a body-worn camera?
It did.
Have that on today?
I do. It's a different model, but same concept.
And just briefly, tell us about that concept. How does that work?
So our body-worn cameras take video 60 seconds prior to their activation, and then upon activation, they also record audio. And they're meant to stay on for the duration of the call or to the completion of the call.
And pardon me, can you manually operate it to turn it on and off?
Yes.
And are there places where you would turn it off?
Very, very specific instances, but very rarely do we ever turn them off.
Okay. And was the area at Vanderbilt Hospital where the ER, was that a place where you turned it off at any time?
No, we do not turn off our body-worn camera unless during my recording, of course, I went to the restroom. I turned it off when I went to the restroom.
Now, when you arrived there and were given some names, was one of the names that you were given Blaise Taylor?
Yes.
And did you come to see that individual in the area of the Vanderbilt emergency room?
Yes, I was directed by Vanderbilt PD towards the individual, Blaise Taylor.
To your knowledge, had you ever seen that person before or had any interaction with him?
No.
Was your interaction with the person you came to be directed to, as Blaise Taylor, recorded on your body-worn camera?
He was.
And you see that person here in the courtroom today?
I do.
Did you describe where he's sitting, perhaps article or two of clothing?
He's wearing a blue suit over here to my right. He has a goatee.
As record reflect, he has identified Mr. Taylor.
Okay.
Now, have you had an opportunity to review that body-worn camera video?
I have.
And have you had an opportunity to review a transcript of the conversation that you had with Mr. Taylor?
I did.
And Your Honor, of course, permission, I have the officer handed a copy of the transcript, which has been provided to counsel, but I have another copy. I guess my answer is left over.
Okay, show that.
Along with the USB. Those could be. Officer Pfeiffer, you're being handed a manila envelope that contains a USB, and if you just open that and just take a look at it. I believe it has an identifying tag on it, your name on it.
It does.
Or it should. Right. Now, the transcript that you've been handed, have you had an opportunity to review that in comparison with what is on the USB?
I have.
And is the transcript a fair and accurate transcription of the conversation that is on the body-worn camera?
Yes.
All right, this time I would move to introduce the USB as an exhibit and with a copy of the transcript as an exhibit for identification. I have made several copies.
Not wanting the transcript made an exhibit.
Well, at this point, after the jury hears it, I was just gonna, but now it's fine. Exhibit 1 and, well, 6 and 6A.
and B. Are you wanting to play that?
Yes, Your Honor, after another question or two, but I said, if I can
You
pass
get
out
those copies. This whole.
yeah. Just give my hand. There should be enough for the jury and court order, court, and an extra one for the. Now, what I'm gonna ask, Officer Pfeiffer identified Mr. Taylor, saw him there, and was your body worn camera running the entire time as you walked up?
Yes.
You will show the interaction, but what was your initial observation when you saw Mr. Taylor? Of what was he doing? What was his appearance and demeanor?
This is during COVID, so everyone's gonna have a mask, or it's kind of the end of COVID, right? So he's on his phone, and I'm being directed by Vanderbilt police about where he kind of direction he went. And so I just see him on his phone kind of talking into the distance on the outside of the ER.
Was he the first individual you talked with when you arrived at Vanderbilt, other than the Vanderbilt police?
Yes.
Involved in the incident that you were there for? Did you later speak with an individual you learned to be Nashville Jackson?
Yes.
Had you received any information whatsoever from her before you talked to Mr. Taylor?
No.
I would ask to publish the video and have the jury.
Okay, you can pass those copies out. Hold on, just
Hold up. And while it's frozen there for a moment, Officer Pfeiffer, can you tell us what is the area? Where are we looking at? What are we looking at here?
So this is I'm walking out of the entrance to the emergency room to like the lobby area. So this had been like, there's a valet area in the front of Vanderbilt ER. He's standing right next to that valet area.
And just for the sake of asking, the person in the yellow top, have any involvement with this?
No.
Somebody walking by here?
Yeah, it's just, there's a lot of foot traffic around Vanderbilt ER as you'd expect from a big hospital.
I'm just saying, this does have audio, so not ask anything while it's playing.
all right, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you've been given a transcript that the officer says is fair and accurate. But if you find, or you're listening to the audio, seeing on the visual, that there's something different between what you hear and what's related in the transcript, you have to rely on what you think was said, okay?
Do we need?
Mike. Okay.
Hey ma'am, what's happening today? What's happening today? So, my girlfriend, she's obviously in the nurse or whatever. Yeah, I got that. So, I was, last night, we were together on date night. Where were you? Where? Where? At her place. At her place, okay. Where's that? It's a new deal. She just moved here. Do you know the address? No, I don't know the exact address. I just know I know how to get there. It's real easy to get there. And I know it's right by the King Market's a Burger King. I know it's right there on the left. But it's a new deal. They're still not even finished with all the buildings there. I got you. But yeah, she's a partner one of our So what happened today? So went up there, she's like, hey, got this thing planned for us, date night, 7 o'clock, so at 7 o'clock. She cooked dinner, she had this canvas for us to paint, and all that stuff. And then there, do all that, she made a lot of food, so one of her friends came by with her, I think boyfriend or friend or whatever. They picked up some food, stuck around for maybe about 5 minutes hours, and then just us hanging out. And all that, she started out to feel well. It's kind of all the she wasn't feeling very good. I said she was like throwing up, kind of shaky. So then I called my dad and I was like, hey, I'm going through. He was like, call 911. Immediately, I called 911. They kind of walked me through what to do, like, turn on the side and wipe her mouth and all that stuff. Had she been drinking at all the night or anything? Yeah, not the alcohol. Anything alcohol, anything like that. There's no alcohol. Were you guys arguing or anything like that? No arguing. We haven't. So do you know what, like, was it some GA or you know? People want to talk to they just told me that they thought it was, she's on the road direction. So they were asking me a lot of medical questions, so I didn't really know. They were asking me to check out the kid, some stuff. Anything else that you can remember? Besides that, just spell, you know, 3 years ago. Yes, sir. So like violence or anything like that, threat violence, stuff like that. Oh no. It's just all medical kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, you can pass those transcripts back down this way, ladies.
Officer Pfeiffer, when we saw the time at the top, was that coming from the bottom of the camera?
Correct.
Military time.
Correct. So 23, it was 43 around that time, so it'll be 11 p.m.
Now, did you ask or ever find out who Mr. Taylor was talking to on the cell phone?
No.
When you were interviewing him or trying to interview him?
I never asked.
Now, after you spoke with Mr. Taylor, did you provide the substance of that to any other officer there? The substance of what he had said?
Yes, later I advised other officers about what he had told me, but I advised Officer Fish, and but I don't know which one who I talked to exactly.
Now, with respect to, did you see the individual that was identified to you as being Chad Jackson?
Yes, I was told of another individual who had wanted to talk to us about this incident.
All right. Now, I'm not going to get into what she may have told you, but where was she when you first saw her?
She was also outside in that same area, just a little bit farther off, closer to the street.
Jury's obviously seen the video of Mr. Taylor, but what was Ms. Jackson's demeanor or appearance when you initially saw her?
She seemed very worried.
Was she by herself at that time when you spoke with her?
Yes.
And the information that she relayed to you was that then also passed along to other officers?
Correct.
Do you recall there being Officer Kalinsky? Was he there?
Yes, he was.
And Sergeant Smith?
Yes.
Did you ever communicate with Sergeant Smith that night about anything that you had observed or had recorded?
No. I relayed all my information to the primary officer on the scene, who then related to the detectives.
Okay. And is that how procedurally things are supposed to work?
Yes. There's always someone who's in charge of the scene, and everything gets funneled up to them so that there's no misunderstanding about what's happening.
How long were you there that night, morning?
A couple hours.
Were you assigned to do any follow-up investigation or duties, responsibilities about this matter?
No, that would be outside the scope of patrol.
So it'd be fair to say this is the extent of your dealings with Mr. Taylor.
Correct.
Did you see him any more at the hospital after your interview with him?
Yes, he was sitting in the waiting room.
And what, if anything, was he doing at that time?
He was on his phone.
Was there anyone with him in that particular area of the waiting room?
I don't recall exactly if there was anybody saying that would have been associated with him.
Those are my questions, Charlie.
All right.
Good afternoon, officer. So you were not the primary investigating officer, right?
That is correct.
Is that basically assigned based on kind of who gets there first?
No, normally the primary investigating officer will be the individual that like I said, we have precincts, but we divide precincts up into different areas. So there's a zone officer, and that zone officer normally, if they respond to that scene, are going to be the primary officer for the investigation.
So was that Officer Fish on this one?
Correct.
Was she at the scene before you?
We responded, and I think we arrived pretty close in time.
But just based on sort of internal police structures that maybe are above my knowledge level, she was assigned as the primary investigating officer at night.
Correct.
So then does your role kind of become assist where needed, kind of take stock of everything that's going on and interview people and collect information?
Correct.
And that's generally what you did in this case, right?
What I did?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know about how long you were there that night?
However long my body and more cameras, I think it's a couple hours.
Okay. Do you know about how long you had been there when you interviewed Mr. Taylor at 11:43 p.m.?
I know it had been shortly after I responded because we kind of started doing our job right away.
Okay. So that's one of the first conversations you have when you got to the scene. Is that fair?
Correct.
Did you and Officer Fish kind of divide conversations, or was it just whoever you guys run into is who you talk to?
I think it's more on the aspect of she went to go talk to medical staff because this is a big hospital, and we didn't really have any information about the victim. So I was going to collect information from anybody that had been around the area.
So the fact that you guys were called to the scene, there was some concern whether it was Vanderbilt or any of that. This was something that needed to be investigated. Is that fair?
The call, yeah, someone was worried that something was wrong, yes.
Okay. But at this point, there's no homicide detectives involved. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you haven't talked to Jade Jackson yet, correct?
Correct.
When you talked to Mr. Taylor, do you know how long he had been at the hospital?
I did not know at the time, no.
When you indicated that sometime later you still saw him sitting in a chair on the phone, do you know how much later that was after this body cam conversation with him?
Of him sitting in the waiting room,
Yes.
he'd been kind of in and out of the waiting room the entire time. So, I mean,
So let's try, I'm trying to kind of get maybe some rough timeline here. So you get there, let's say 11:30 or so, does that seem fair?
yeah, around there maybe.
Okay. You interview him about 11:43, right?
Correct.
Your body cam is at least 2 hours, maybe between 2 and 3 hours, does that seem fair?
Correct.
Do you think that you saw Mr. Taylor still sitting in the waiting room at least 2 or 3 hours later?
Correct. He was there. I think, from my knowledge, I recall him still being there like an hour plus after we had talked to him.
To your knowledge and your recollection, was he there the entire time that you were at the hospital?
From my recollection, he was there at least the majority of the time at the hospital. I don't know if he ever left in between.
So you don't have any specific recollection of him leaving during the time that you're at the hospital?
Correct.
And during that conversation that you had at the with him, obviously we watched it, right? That's the only conversation you had with him, right?
In depth, correct.
Maybe there's something brief in passing.
Yes, I may have missed some information. I had to make sure I had some like demographic information if I missed anything.
And other than him kind of being on the phone and quickly picking up another phone call, he answers your questions, right?
He does.
He provides you some information about what happened that night, right?
He does.
And it's at this time, it's not your responsibility to do like a full like interrogation of anybody, is it?
No, we do like preliminary statements about what's happening and kind of figure out what the general idea of the scene is.
Yeah, just kind of getting the lay of the land, right?
Correct.
Figuring out who the players are, right?
Correct.
Kind of knowing what everybody's saying happened, right?
Correct.
Just very brief, right? It's intended to be brief, is that correct?
I mean, unless more information is coming up from previous stuff, we may ask more specific questions, but normally there's a follow-up and, we'll follow up if there's more questions to be had at the time. But sometimes we leave that for detectives because they are the ones that have the ability and means to follow up at a larger extent.
Okay, that's fair. But this interview with Mr. Taylor, this was just the initial interview, right?
Correct.
You hadn't gotten any kind of follow-up interview or questioning, right?
Correct.
So it's kind of almost intentionally brief, is that fair?
I wouldn't say that I'm intentionally making it a brief conversation. I would say that I make it as long as it needs to be.
Okay. But I guess maybe what I'm just trying to understand, just maybe for myself and for the jury, is it wasn't unusually brief. Is that fair?
I mean, he gave me the information that he had at the time. There wasn't really much specifics to what he gave, though.
Okay. During that conversation, he does note at one time that it's kind of a blur. Is that right?
He does say that.
He does refer to Ms. Benning as his girlfriend, right?
Correct.
He does indicate that during the 911 call, they asked if it might be allergic reaction. Is that right?
Correct.
There wasn't any point in that time questioning that he refused to answer any of your questions. Is that right?
No.
At some point in time during your time at the hospital, did you interact with a social worker?
I don't recall if I ever interacted with a social worker.
You don't remember a social worker being involved in the hospital situation?
I don't remember being a social worker involved. I don't recall if I had interaction with them.
You do remember that this was a situation where whether the hospital asked or on their own accord, there was a social worker involved.
Correct.
Are you familiar with other situations where social workers are involved
Correct, yeah.
at the hospital?
Mm-hmm.
So you've been an officer for 4 years now?
A little over 4, yeah.
It sounds like you have sort of a variety of things that you're involved with in the police department.
Yes.
And it's fair to say you respond to, at this point in your career, a pretty large number of calls.
At the point I am at now, or the point that I was at?
Now,
Yes.
some calls involve medical emergencies.
Yes.
Some calls involve various allegations of criminal conduct.
Yes.
Some calls involve injuries or death. Is that right?
Yep.
So you responded to a kind of wide variety of situations where the police might be involved.
Yes.
In your experience, do all people in those situations, friends, family, whoever, witnesses, do they all react to situations that you're responding to in the same kind of way?
No.
And obviously, I'm not asking you to describe all the different reactions, but can you often predict how a friend or family or loved one or even a witness is going to react to the situation where police is involved?
No, I can't predict how someone's going to react to a situation.
Is that particularly true where there's someone is critically injured or even killed?
Yes, but a lot of times people will be pretty direct with you if they want to talk to you.
But I guess what I'm sort of asking is, when someone's injured or killed, is it fair to describe that as traumatic?
Yes.
And in your experience, do people respond to that or react to that trauma in different ways?
Yes.
And you've had an opportunity to sort of observe like a wide variety of those reactions, right?
I have.
And you've never interacted with Mr. Taylor before, right?
Correct.
You don't know, especially at that time, you didn't know anything about his background, right?
No, I did not.
You didn't know anything about what experience he has with trauma or traumatic situations?
I did not.
So your job in this case was really just collecting information, right?
Correct.
You weren't reaching any conclusions or anything like that, right?
No, that would be up to the detective.
Just one second. That's all I'm thinking.
You need to read your breath.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Who's the next one?
Aaron Kalinsky.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Sir, could you please tell us your name and spell your first and last name for us?
I'm Officer Jared Kalinsky. First name's Jerrod. Last name Kalinsky, Kalinsky.
And for whom are you an officer?
I'm an officer for the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department.
How long have you been so employed?
I've been employed since August of 2020.
What are your current duties with the police department?
I'm currently a field training officer, still working in the patrol capacity.
And of the 9 or so precincts, are you assigned any particular one?
Yes, I work at the Midtown Hills Police Precinct.
And where is that area, just generally?
I'd say it goes from about the Edgehill area all the way down to the county line with Williamson County.
back in February of 2023, also Metropolitan Nashville police officer.
Yes, sir.
What were your duties and responsibilities back then?
It was very similar. I was still working in patrol capacity. I was not a field training officer at the time.
And what precinct then were you assigned?
Yeah, I was still assigned to the Midtown Hills Police Precinct.
And with the Midtown Hills precinct, the late evening of February the 25th and on into the early morning hours of the 26th of 2023, were you dispatched to the Vanderbilt University Medical Center Emergency Department?
Yes, I was.
Do you recall approximately when you received the call to go there?
I recall it was later in the evening. It was kind of close to the beginning of my shift, closer to 10 or 11 p.m. is when we responded to the hospital.
When you say we, did you have a partner that night?
Me, myself, Officer Pfeiffer, and Officer Fish.
All right. And did the three of you go together? Who arrived first, if you recall?
I don't recall exactly who arrived first. I was I believe one of the last officers to arrive on scene, and I met with Officer Pfeiffer.
Now, without going into detail, what was the nature of the call?
All I remember from the nature of the call was we were responding to a possible drugging that was being reported at the hospital.
When you arrived at the hospital, were you given additional information with respect to people to speak with?
I spoke first with a representative of the Vanderbilt Police Department who was asking what I was responding to, and then I spoke with a friend of Ms. Benning.
Would that have been the person you later identified as being Najee Jackson?
That's correct, yes.
Najee. Where was Ms. Jackson when you first encountered her?
I believe we were outside of the emergency room, kind of close to ambulance bay.
Now, how were you directed to her, or did you call out her name? Just how did it come about that you were?
She, after speaking with the Vanderbilt officer, she was kind of approaching us as to speak with us about the matter.
Do you recall anything about that initial first impression of her appearance, demeanor?
She seemed rather upset about kind of what transpired during the events that have happened that night.
I asked Officer Pfeiffer about body-worn camera, but as a patrol officer, you also have body-worn camera.
Yes, sir.
And is that activated when you're at a scene?
Yes.
And does it record?
Yes, it does.
Interactions. And was your interaction with Ms. Jackson recorded on your body-worn camera?
It was.
And preserved and available?
Yes, it was.
Now, after speaking with Ms. Jackson, did you relay the information you received from her to any one of the other officers?
I don't recall if I did. If I did, I would have related to Officer Fish.
Okay. And Officer Fish essentially the...
Yes, she was the primary officer compiling the report for us.
At that initial time that the three of you arrived, were there any Metropolitan Nashville Police Department detectives at the hospital, to your knowledge?
At the time of our response, I don't recall one being there.
Right. Did one or more later arrive while you were still at the hospital?
I don't recall if I was still present at the hospital when a detective arrived. I do know that one did respond.
And the reason I ask that is, did you ever speak with a detective to relay the information directly to a Metro Police Department detective at the hospital?
I don't believe I did.
Okay. So Officer Fish was gathering the information.
That's correct.
After you spoke with Ms. Jackson, did you later encounter an individual you learned to be Mr. Blaise Taylor?
I did.
And approximately how long after your speaking with Ms. Jackson did that occur?
Say it'd be about 5 or so minutes, give or take a little bit of time.
You told us about Ms. Jackson approaching you and you're in conversation. Had you seen the person you learned to be Blaise Taylor there before seeing Ms. Jackson? I'm just saying visually.
Visually, I did not.
And after this time, you described talking with Ms. Jackson, where was Mr. Taylor when you first encountered him?
Mr. Taylor was still sitting in the waiting room, in the emergency room.
Okay. And were you directed to him?
Yes.
Someone pointed him out and said, that's
Yes.
Blaise Taylor, or words to that effect, right?
Correct.
And did you then speak with Mr. Taylor?
I did.
And was that recorded on your body-worn camera?
Yes, that was also audio and visually recorded.
And have you had the opportunity to review that?
I have.
And have you also had the opportunity to review a transcript of the conversation?
I have.
And I wonder if I could ask that this council's be passed. Officer Glenski, you're being handed 2 items, one of which is a manila envelope. If you would open that, see if that contains a USB. Is
It does.
And the transcript that you've been handed, have you had an opportunity to review that? And is that a fair and accurate transcription of what is on the USB recording?
It is.
I will attend those as next collected exhibit and ask that it be published. And I have, again, made hopefully enough copies for everyone. Council already has theirs. Now, may the transcripts be passed to
Sure, yeah, pass it.
And Your Honor, with of course permission, I publish this, but before General Norman hits the, I know Your Honor has something probably to say to the jury about the transcript.
Yeah, it's the same instruction, and then again, if you find something different from the transcript and what you hear, then rely on what you yourself hear.
Officer Klinsky, while the screen is still frozen, who are we seeing in this screenshot?
I believe in the screenshot, I see Officer Pfeiffer and Mr. Blaise Taylor.
Okay, now, could you identify by what he's wearing, who Mr. Taylor is in this?
In the screenshot, he's wearing a blue mask around his face with a gray hoodie and white shoes.
Okay, and the individual sitting in the chair next to the wall, do you know who that is or was, and whether they had anything to do with this case?
As far as I have no idea who that individual is.
Okay, did you have any interaction with that individual?
No, sir.
Okay. And the date and time, military time, what is that?
It says February 26, 2023. Looks like it's just after midnight.
The 12:01 and 51 seconds a.m.?
Yes.
And Your Honor, if we could play that.
Okay.
You Blaise? Sure. We'll talk over there. Just curious, I haven't got to talk to you yet. What happened?
So she texted me today, wanted to do date night. She didn't tell me exactly what I was. It was okay, so I was at 7, I got some phone voice. Cooked dinner, we ate, had date night. Friend came over to pick up, she made a bunch of food, so friend came over to pick up some food and left. Anyway, so we had date night, started feeling sick, and then.
Just after you got to go late?
Yeah, so this was probably a little bit afterwards, I guess. I don't know the time was, so we were hanging out, whatever. And then, she started feeling sick. I called my dad, she was really sick. Not really sure what to do. And then he told me to call 911. I called 911. And then, we talked to the EMS people or the paramedics, whoever's on my phone. I talked to them, and they were like, hey, do this, turn on the side, all this stuff. And then I had to cut out just because I didn't even know the apartment complex was in the middle of the apartment. So we ran outside, saw the name, told them to get the address that she had arrested them. So that's really what happened. Ambulance back and all that kind of stuff. It was just this kind of just all behind the blur.
Yeah, did she say anything to you while she was passing out?
She was just really kind of just all the blur. She was just saying like she didn't feel good and stuff. And I was just trying to help her, and then I panicked, and I know what was going on, so I just called my pops, and I was like, yeah. And then he was like, hey, can you come out on and that's what it is. So she was just like really kind of catch-keeping kind of blur. Because she wasn't coming out and stuff, so it's just.
Stuff between you two, nothing rocky or anything like that?
Yeah, things have been good. I mean, I've seen her the last, I think 3 days in a row. I just got back in town, and so I saw her, because what's that, Saturday? So I saw her the last 3 days. The last 2 days in a row. So we had a date night tonight. Yesterday, we had Waffle House and brunch days or whatever, and then I saw her Thursday.
She don't have any medications,
I know of. I mean, she's pregnant, but outside of that, nothing that I know of. Already people, I call 911, they kind of ask me that too. That she had allergies, or they can get around. I didn't know, so I kind of scrambled to try to look for her, but I couldn't really find.
I got you. Okay. That's appreciated. You can sit down.
Thank you.
All right, you can pass those documents back this way. Okay.
Officer Kalinsky, when you spoke with Mr. Taylor, you had already received information from Ms. Jackson, correct?
Correct.
And we know from what we just watched, you did not relay any of her information to Mr. Taylor, did you?
I did not.
But did you have that in mind when you were listening to what he was telling you?
I did.
And based upon that, did you relay that information to Officer Fitch?
I don't recall.
Down up the chain.
I don't recall exactly what I told her, but in the moment I probably would have.
Yes. For it to be, again, relayed on up to further investigation.
Yes.
With respect to Mr. Taylor, who's appearance, demeanor, the jury's seeing with your interaction. How would that compare with Ms. Jackson and her interaction with you?
Say they were, I wouldn't say exactly opposite, but they were very different.
In what way?
Miss Jackson was very kind of upset and distraught, and I remember making the remark that Mr. Taylor even seemed a little nervous or even not as like upset as Miss Jackson was.
Did you see Mr. Taylor any more now it's morning, but that morning at the hospital?
I don't believe I did.
Have any other interaction with him then?
I believe that was my only interaction with him.
I'd have a moment, John.
Okay.
Those are my questions, Your Honor.
Any questions? Fixed.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
I don't want to, but I probably am going to mispronounce your name. Is it Officer Kalinsky?
Yes, sir.
My name is Ed Jointer. I'm going to be asking you a few questions. If at any time you don't understand, just let me know and I'll try to rephrase.
Okay.
I want to just try to orientate myself in the jury. Do you know at the time you asked to speak to Mr. Taylor, if you spoke to him before your coworker did or after?
As far as my knowledge is, I'm one of the people that speaks to him after.
Okay. And did he interact with you voluntarily?
Yes.
Did you have the opportunity to watch the video, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you notice that he had like a sticker on his side of his shirt? Did you notice that?
Yes.
Visitor pass?
Mm-hmm.
And you spoke to Miss Jade Jackson that night as well, didn't you?
I did.
And did you get a chance to review your body cam video of that?
Yes, sir.
And did she also have on a visitor sticker on her shirt?
If I recall, it did not appear she did.
Okay. Now, was she alone when you interviewed him?
Yes, it was just me and myself and Officer Pfeiffer.
Were there anybody that she would have known lingering around her as well?
I believe at the tail end, a couple of her friends did approach her at the end of our interview.
And both of those friends were females, correct?
Correct.
And you never encountered a gentleman by the name of Keontae Jones, did you?
I did not.
And when you approached Mr. Taylor, he did cooperate fully, did he not?
He did.
No further questions.
You can redirect.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. And there was one other witness that was here.
No, Your Honor. There was, but he left. He was going to be a rather lengthy witness.
Okay.
I don't know, but this judge seems super annoyed by this court case. Shaking his head, rolling his eyes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the jury, we're going to recess for the day. Just remember about not discussing the case, forming any opinion, looking things up, finding locations, all of that.
In my opinion.
I gave you, looking at TV, reading anything. Those of you who are taking notes, you can leave those pads up here in the jury deliberation room. That room will be locked. No one will be looking at your notes. Tomorrow, if you'll report like you did this morning downstairs in the jury assembly room, 8:45, 8:50, we'll get you up here as a group and resume the trial. Thank you very much, and you can step out of the court.
Sounds like to me they're going to have a really hard time proving that he actually did this.
All right.
And I think his lawyers know that.
Forward, we'll be in recess.
to recess to 9 a.m.
All right, y'all. Well, that's day one work too. I think tomorrow I'll start a little bit later and so we can work through lunch so I don't have to split up the days. Maybe just 30 minutes, 45 minutes later. So maybe about 9:30, quarter to 10, I'll start. But I do have someone coming to pick me up tomorrow. I have to go to the library because my printer, I don't have any ink in my printer, and I got to print something off for someone and refill out the application. So thank you so much to whoever's here. Have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next stream. All right. Bye-bye.